Hello everyone. So I was laid off 10 years ago. This may sound like a long time, but in this video, I wanted to share with you how this has impacted me and how this has shifted my perspective in terms of someone who works in a corporate job and all of the change that I have made throughout those 10 years. Not so that this doesn't happen again, because nobody have control over that, but so that if that were to happen again, I would be able to sustain it. So 10 years ago, I used to work at American Express. This was my first official job as a software engineer straight out of college. And 6 months into the job, I was let go. So the story went when at that time, I was hired by a subset that's called Serve. In American Express bought the startup, which name was Serve. And I joined when they owned the Serve platform. And then 6 months later, once American Express integrate their system with that startup, they let 80% of the people go. I was a new hire, so 80%. They only let the people who can keep the platform running. So unfortunately, I was let go. And this little experience had really changed my perspective in terms of work. This was my first job straight out of college. At that time, it was not very difficult to get another software engineering job. It took me about less than 3 months. So when I was let go, they let us stay for an extra 2 months and we were getting paid. And then after that, they gave us some severance package that would be proportional to how long someone stayed in the company. So I eventually got a new job. At that time, it was at the Home Depot, but my perception of a lot of things has changed. So there are a few of the things that this layoff had opened my eyes and how I navigate the next few years of my life. I was a little bit more selfish in a sense that I prioritized a lot in terms of my education. So for part of me felt that I was let go because I wasn't intelligent enough, which is false. Without thinking about it, it has nothing to do with my intelligence. By the next time that the Georgia Tech online program was open, I was already enrolled so that I could be more academically ready for other computer science job. Second thing, how this has impacted me, I live way below my mean. Even though as a software engineer, I knew that I would be making like 6-figure and up, but I never really adopt a lifestyle of someone who is earning a lot of money. I think this is another thing that deeply impacted me. I own a Honda Accord, which I paid for $18,000. And I already completely paid that car. So in a sense, even though I have the money to get myself a more luxurious car, I never spend. This car has been running for the past 10 years, and now in this current situation, I still don't want to change it because it does get the job done. In terms of house, I got a not cheap, but relatively cheaper house. For example, I don't think I paid more than $200,000 for my house. But if you look at my salary and the size of my house, there is a misconnection. At the same time, it also means that I'm almost done paying off the mortgage. I still have, I think I'm 75% done. So the small amount of money that I have to pay for that house is minimal. So even if I were to lose my job, I'm not going to be on the street. I never really took vacation, not until the last 2 years. So this idea of traveling, going to fancy places. So during my 30s, I didn't do any of this. Mostly, I think it was because of fear that I need to save money so that if I were to be laid off again, that I don't find myself on the street. So not that many vacation. Not until recently, I would say in the past 2 or 3 years, where I just uh, bite the bullet and went and visit some cheaper places. I'm talking about Panama, Dominican Republic, those places where you don't need a fortune to visit. Other thing also, I try not to take pretty job. I usually take ugly job. What I mean by pretty job, as an engineer, I always love to build new thing. But there are those ugly jobs where I would say people don't want to do it, but they are important. Or there are certain systems that are really important that business want this system to be open regardless they are earning money or not. An example would be the authorization system that let employee log in or log out. Or the system that keep their server running. So I stayed away from developing new things. These I do in my spare time and also graduate school or other thing, and take boring job where most of my time is spent keeping the business running, right? Like working in the payment system. At Home Depot, my second job, I was working in the contact center. People would contact and they need the software that handle phone call in and phone call out to be reliable and to be up and running. So those are boring jobs. There's nothing exciting about them, but they are more likely to be more resilient because the business need is core of the business. Even though that's not how they make money, they need their IT system to be up. Like things like for example, getting email, like their email server is running, even though those things can be outsourced. So for the past 10 years, I did a lot of boring job, but those boring jobs give me the time and the flexibility to work on things that I find really passionate, like doing YouTube or doing photography or doing videography, or also learn new software on my spare time, play with them and things like that. So I have a small house, which is almost paid for, an ugly car, which has close to 200,000 miles on it. And another thing is I put a lot of money on my 401k, and I manage my own little investment account with the idea that one day I can sustain my life with this investment account. Last but not least, I spent a lot of time trying to start my own business where I don't have to rely on a corporate to finance my lifestyle. But I have to honestly say that it's really hard. Been doing a lot of trial and error, put a lot of money toward it. It was not until the last 3 months where I can get customers that pay me for my service, mostly help them with technical issue. For example, they might have employees that need help drive. Some business owners sometimes are really busy, and sometimes they might have one employee or they don't have an IT department, and they might want someone to be on call for them if they have some IT issue. The type of problem are very simple, like, hey, my emails are not coming through, and then I go and look at their DNS record. I'm like, oh, you're missing the proper DNS thing. So in that sense, I would say getting laid off opened my eyes that nothing is guaranteed. Even if you have a very good job today, paying you $200,000, $300,000, something outside of your control, and before you know it, the lifestyle that you have of $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 is taken away from you. And the time for you to get back on your feet, if you didn't already have something else, would be very challenging. I know now we are in a situation where tech jobs are very slippery. So hopefully the things that I start on the side flourish, and I can have a life where I'm not depending on corporate to sustain my lifestyle. And yeah, so 10 years later, I still live like a college student-ish. But I think that's the thing. When things are good, sometimes we forget about when things are bad. And when things are bad at the same time too, we have to remember it's temporary. So I hope this kind of gives you some perspective about the impact of the layoff on me that happened 10 years ago, and that you also yourself can use this as a way to understand that a job is just a job. That's what it is. It's a way for you to earn enough money. Eventually, my goal was always, after 10 or 15 years working in technology, to have my own little business that can help other people with technology, because as you get older, regardless you like it or not, ageism exists, and I'm getting older. So I'm gonna stop the rant. Tell me, have you been laid off in the past? Or how did this experience impact you? Did it makes you change the way you spend, the way you see money? Did you put all of your money into your investment account and hopefully it grows to a point where even if something were to happen, you can still navigate? I can only talk about what I have done. So if you have done something, drop it in the comment. And I'll see you next time. Bye.